day 2. We are doing our morning devotional on top of the roof of the hotel. Then we're heading out to some of the villages. Morning.
Hey!
We had to teach ourselves all about clay. Clay is amazing, So God made clay and it filters the water for us. And down in the aquifers, you pull it out, it's good water. It's old water. It's great water. We found out that arsenic's a big problem in certain parts of Cambodia, and unfortunately, it's mostly where people live within 3 to 5 kilometers of the river. So about 47% of the known wells are contaminated with arsenic. And it has to do a lot with filling inland. So if it's old dirt, like earthen dikes that are natural, probably not going to see it because it's really old. If someone's come in and filled it in, and it used to be a floodplain or a wetland, and then we tap down into it, what we do is we hit a layer that arsenides came down from the Himalayas, linked up with an iron arsenide, and it's pretty inert down in there, but then you oxidize it and you release the isotope of arsenic up. But take that same clay that cleans the water and you mix that with a secondary ingredient which we call burnout material. In this case it's rice hulls, and I'll show you some in a minute. You mix it at the right ratio, you can expand the natural porosity of clay. So these are all the cast off bricks unfired. So what we do is we pulverize that back in these big hammer mills and grinders into this powder here that you see in my hand. And so that's just clay that's been pulverized. Mixed with a rice hull, so once it's refined right, you mix them together and put them through that machine, they come out in a uniform way. Pressed out in about 45 seconds, we'll make each pot that you see here. What we do here is 2 things happening. We're flushing a lot of water through it so that when that filter gets to the house, it's actually ready to use. So that means because clay, this gets a little bit confusing, clay has residual arsenic in it. After about 5 or 6 washes, that residual arsenic is gone. There's nothing you can do about that, that's just clay. And that's very confusing to a Cambodian who's being told don't drink arsenic contaminated water. So it's kind of tricky. So one of the things the government asked us to do was help figure out a way to where the filters went to the house. We didn't have to say, flush these 5 or 6 times because
it's got arsenic.
Right.
Yep.
And that was a problem with some of the other groups. So we flushed them all for over 10 hours, which equals about 10 flushes. So again, arsenic's naturally occurring. It's not from chemical contaminants from factories or anything. It's just from the hydrogeology of Cambodia. It was rushing down from the Himalayas and Laos and Thailand and China. And it's so much volume. It's one of the deepest channel rivers in the world. And when it gets here, this part backfills as it's going down to the Vietnam Delta. And it can't handle the volume. So it starts actually reverses flow. Floods back up to this river. And actually floods this lake too. You can see this bigger line, and even goes further, even into this white area. You can get pretty high at various times. And it causes all kinds of great fish spawning and other things. But the part where it's arsenic is all of this is sediment coming down, and then when it's in that flood, all the sediment drops, then it rushes back up, and you end up with all that water going away, and then people come back and live where all that sediment dropped. And then they fill it in, and then they put a house, and they put a well, and now there's arsenic, not that part now. If you drink from it for a week or 2 or even a year, it's probably not that big of a deal. Our bodies are made to process heavy metals and contaminants, and our liver will take that and process it through our hair and our nails, and so if you drink it, no big deal. However, if you drink from it consistently for 5 to 10 years, it starts doing really, really crazy things, and that's still an unknown because most of this is happening right now. The first stage is just a real discoloration, primarily on the trunk. Then it turns into this hardening, like in this palm here, and you can see, kind of looks like you've got lots of calluses and even kind of moles or even just dirty hands. What that is actually a hardening, so the heavy metals coming out through the skin at that point. There's no treatment that gets rid of that. You see advanced cases of basically necrosis begins to happen. Bacteria obviously begins to sit in. You see this is a ring well. So if this lid wasn't here, you would look down and just see the water. So this is a shallow well. It gets a little bit complicated. So deep wells and shallow wells. So arsenic is down below 35 meters normally, between 35 and about 50. This is going to be about 12 to 15. So this source water can be very good in an arsenic area because you're not going to the depths where the arsenic is found. However, they're frequently poorly done, even like this apron. If it rained and there's a lot of fecal material, it's going to wash all that into the well too. So you've got a bacterial problem in it, even though chemically you've got a pretty nice source.